So when you got to Alabama, Jalen Hurts was there. Tua came after. Then it was Mac. Then it was Bryce. You got to play with four NFL quarterbacks. I know it's kind of a broad question, but what is something that kind of separated each of them?
I've gotten asked this a lot. It's tough to kind of say who was better, who was worse, or whatever. I mean, I didn't play with Jalen a lot necessarily because his in 2018, it was Tua and he was just there, and obviously in the 2018 SEC championship game came back and helped us win that. Obviously, that was unbelievable, but uh, so I didn't really have a relationship on the field with Jalen. Obviously, outside relationship we did, or outside the field we did, but and I wasn't playing that much when Tua was there, or Tua was mainly starting. So really it's between Mac and Bryce, to be honest, when it comes to on the field, and because I could compare all three of them in a way just from watching, especially with Tua and Jalen. Uh, but when it comes to like me on the field with these guys, me and Mac, we're best friends. We had such a great relationship, and we spent so much time with each other. Even when we were both on, scout team, we kind of knew what we were thinking, and that's what I always tell guys who, maybe we ask for advice when it comes to playing receivers. Like, you want to be on the same like telepathic wavelength that your quarterback's on. I always wanted to, because I treated studying the game and preparing for a game like a quarterback. So I always thought like a quarterback initially. So when if whatever the defense was, the coverage they were running or the scheme they were running, and depending on what play you were running, I always thought about it as how would a quarterback think. But also, I built such a strong relationship, you know, just constantly running routes with Mac, and we were obviously hung out all the time, so we knew each other like the back of our hands. So that when it comes to playing with Mac, I think we were definitely a better pair. I think I understand him more, but is they're all different. Bryce was so like, I mean, they're him and Mac are so just like intelligent and just was able to break down defenses and would see things that not many people saw. And I never, and I, looking back, like I wish I'd have kind of built that same relationship like with Bryce that was able to build with Mac, but I was able to build that with Mac for 3 years. Like that wouldn't, or yeah, 3 years. That didn't just happen like overnight. Because once Mac left, it was just I had Bryce for a year. So it's kind of hard to build as strong as we did. Doesn't mean we didn't have a great relationship at all, but they were just so good, both of them, intellectually, just being able to break down defenses and seeing things that not people saw. I mean, especially like when I would watch film with Bryce, I mean, he was just like, yeah, they're about to do this, this, and that. And I'm just like, how'd you see that? You know what I mean? And that's obviously that's what separates guys like that. But I always saw Bryce was one of the most just all overall talented guys I play with when it comes to just making plays with his feet, being able to make things happen when it looked like nothing was going to work. And obviously, all of them threw a great ball. All of them were accurate. But Bryce was sneaky. Man, he was like he was like a point guard out there playing quarterback. And I thought honestly like he was the most overall talented. I always thought Mac threw the best touch, had the most accurate catchable ball. But that also probably had to do with our connection, being able to know kind of exactly where I was going to be at the right time. And, that has a lot to do with it. But I mean, man, I mean, Mac was a Heisman candidate, Tua was a Heisman candidate, Jason was a Heisman candidate, and Bryce the only one that won. And I thought maybe if Mac would have had Jalen Waddle and Smitty and Mechie, he probably would have won that year. But if Jalen doesn't go hurt, then I don't get to play. So it's like it's funny how it all works out. So it's kind of hard to compare all these guys. I mean, they were so good, and in their own ways, and and I love each and every one of them. So I'm obviously not picking favorites, but it's obviously easy to me to say Mac because we just had such a stronger connection, and but it was built up. It wasn't just oh, now we have a good connection. That just it started from being on the scout team together and being roommates and constantly getting on the field in the summer on Sundays at the rec fields during COVID of 2020. So those constant reps that it takes time. You can't. It's hard to develop that with a year like I was able to do with Bryce. But me and Bryce were able to build a great connection, and obviously it worked because I mean we went to the Natty and should have won that, but it's tough to kind of say which one's better because they're all really great in their own ways. But for me, I guess it would be Mac because I just had that connection and that relationship that was built over years.